Hey everyone. Sorry I haven't made a video earlier. I've been procrastinating while I was on vacation during Golden Week, so I didn't really get around to making the video. I was busy doing some other things, hanging out with friends. Went shopping in Osaka on Friday, bought a lot of stuff. Um, and then Saturday and Sunday, I spent most of that time uh, cleaning up the apartment and doing a little bit of decorating. It looks pretty much the same, um, but I added some things. I put my computer on this little rolling rack thing, so now I can move my camera easily. But I put up some wall decorations, and I think it's really cool. It's probably my favorite part of the decorating I've been doing. But yeah, I've been working on that, and like I said, I didn't have time to make the video about what I said I was going to talk about. So first off, as you can see, my hair is still straight, and if you didn't watch my last video, I had gotten thermal reconditioning or Japanese hair straightening about 1.5 weeks ago, and after the required however many hours it was supposed to be, I finally could touch and wash my hair regularly. In my last video, you might have noticed that I had my hair tucked behind my ears, and I wasn't supposed to do that because apparently it ends up getting stuck in that shape, which I don't really care if it did because, I mean, I'm either going to have my hair out like this anyway so you wouldn't see it, or it'll be tied in a ponytail, or, you know, it won't even, or it'll be tucked behind my ears. It doesn't even matter. So I don't care about that. But yeah, I'm happy with my hair. I'm still trying to treat it very carefully. So yeah, that's that. So I said in my last video that I was going to talk about teaching the first graders for their very first elementary school English activities. And so at my first school, my bigger school, what we did was we combined the two classes together, and we really just had time to do introductions, and I introduced myself and showed them some pictures and stuff. I let all of those kids introduce themselves in Japanese, of course, but there was one kid who apparently, I don't know if he's taking English conversation class or ECC, but he already knew how to say my name is, and so he said my name is blah blah blah, and then he said in Japanese I like games or something like that. I forget. It was about a month ago that happened, and then 2 weeks ago I taught the first graders at my smaller school. And I was very impressed with what they already knew. They already understand good morning, they already understand hello. Most of them already know how to say my name is. So I was really impressed with that. So, we managed to do introductions in English, and they understand stand up and sit down and that kind of thing. So I was happy about that. After I did my self-introduction, I asked those kids if they had any questions for me. And I was expecting, just like my self-introduction last September, I was expecting them to ask things like, what's your favorite color? What's your favorite food? That kind of thing. How old are you? These kids, these little first graders, had some of the most thoughtful questions. I mean, it was amazing. At one point, I told them how many people, the estimated population of Ono, and how it's about the same as the city where I'm from, which is Bowie, Maryland. And so the number is about 50,000. It's about the same. That's what I told them. And so one of the kids, after my introduction, he asked, "So you said that Ono has about 50,000 people. How did you find that out?" And I'm like, I checked the internet. I mean, that's how I found out. And then some other kid was like, "Of that many people in Ono, how many are boys and how many are girls?" And I'm like, I don't know. It was amazing what kind of questions they were coming up with. Um, when I started telling them, they weren't even asking questions about me. They were asking more questions about my family and about America than about me. And so um, at one point, one of the kids asked me about my brother, and I told them that he had gotten married last July, and they asked, um, does your brother and his wife have any kids? And I said, no, they don't have any kids, but they recently got a puppy. And so then one of the other kids was like, what's the puppy's name? And then someone else asked, is the puppy a boy or a girl? And I was like, well, I know that, I know the puppy's name and I know that it's a girl. And then they started asking me more questions about the dog, and I'm like, I've never even met the dog yet. I don't even know. And then the most interesting question I got was from this boy, and he asked, I had trouble hearing him because he was a little bit quiet, but he asked, why is your skin darker than ours? Well, I mean, you can't really translate that literally. I mean, he didn't say than ours, but like in Japanese, basically he was asking, why is your skin dark? Compared to Japanese people, of course. And I didn't hear him the first time, so I said, one more time. And the girl sitting next to him was like, that's rude. And after I had heard the question, she was like, don't ask that, that's rude. And I said, no, it's okay. I can answer that question. And so, I showed them, again, the picture of my family, and I showed them my dad and my mom, and I showed them why I'm the color that I am. Simple as that. But, I just thought that was really interesting. I didn't see it as being rude. I mean, this is coming from a little, 5-year-old. He's just curious. Of course it would be rude coming from an older person. Rude and kind of stupid, actually, because why would an older person ask, why is your skin darker? They would probably assume that I was mixed with something, and they would ask, what's your ethnicity or something. But why are you darker? I would only expect that from a younger kid. And so it was a very thoughtful question, and I was kind of glad that he asked. Because, I like talking about my background, and I like talking about why I look the way I look. So, I didn't mind that at all. But these kids, these first graders, I can tell they're so smart, they're so curious, and so thoughtful. I think I might enjoy teaching them. So yeah, that went really well. The other thing I wanted to talk about was my coworkers, and and these are the coworkers at my bigger school. On April, I think it was April 29th, it was a national holiday, but I ended up having to go to work because I guess I have to explain this. Basically, Golden Week, which is like a string of holidays at the beginning of May, there are 3 days. And this year, those 3 days fell on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, which meant most people would have to go to work Monday, Friday. 4 was a holiday. We ended up going to work that day, and then we set it up so that the next Friday would be our kind of substitute day off. So that's what we did. And so what I ended up having to go to work that day, and then the following Monday was like a nice little school picnic, so it was kind of relaxing, and then the rest of that week was vacation. But anyway, about that Friday, we had a special, what was called a PTA Solkai, and I think Solkai is kind of like a convention or a meeting of sorts. So there's tons of parents there, and PTA committee and that kind of thing. And so that meant that we weren't going to have classes that day, and that the kids were going home early, so that all of us, all of the staff, we had to take care of our own lunch, because there wasn't going to be school lunch that day. And so I had made my own lunch. I made a little bento for myself, but I was wondering if any of the teachers would be going out for lunch, and maybe I could join them. One in particular, the one I was talking about before from the Valentine's Day and White Day story, he ended up going out for lunch. But I was a bit upset by the fact that he was talking to two of the teachers that were sitting in front of me. And so basically the way the desks were set up is like it's a cluster of 4 desks, and the 2 teachers sitting in front of me, they're facing me, but they're across from me, sitting facing my direction. But anyway, this teacher that I was talking about before, he was talking to them, and I wasn't really paying full attention to the conversation, but I heard him mention something about having lunch and that kind of thing, and they were saying they had brought their own lunch boxes, and I think he was basically inviting them or asking them if they were going out for lunch, and he didn't even bother talking to me. He didn't bother asking me anything. Like, no one knew that I had a lunchbox, and like no one knew that I had a lunchbox. And none of the teachers invited me for lunch. My supervisor, she was the only one who asked me, "Oh, did you bring a lunchbox?" And I didn't say yes or no. I just said, and she said, if I wanted to, I can join one of the groups. And I'm thinking, well, if it's okay to join one of the groups, then why didn't they invite me? It's like my supervisor herself wasn't even going out for lunch. She had brought her own lunch. But why didn't any of these other teachers invite me if it was supposedly okay? I didn't bother asking because I'm tired of tagging along behind the other teachers. Hey, can I go with you? It's like, if they're not going to invite me, that means they don't really care if I'm there or not. So what's the point? But at that point, I didn't really care about that teacher. I gave up on him because I'm not going to waste my time. But yeah, it was just like, wow. Like, they didn't invite me. They didn't even ask anything about lunch. Fortunately, I brought my own lunch because I kind of knew that. I kind of had a feeling that was going to happen. But anyway, not to say that that would happen at every single school in Japan to a foreigner, because at my smaller school, I get invited all the time. I'm basically kind of part of the group. Like, it's kind of expected, or I wouldn't say expected, but basically, if something like that happened at my smaller school, they would invite me out to lunch. But yeah, it's just this particular school. I don't know what it is, but whatever. Um, hmm. Something else I wanted to talk about, and I forgot what it was. So yeah, that's that first graders. That picnic was following Monday. Um, the picnic was fun. Um, basically, uh, we all they separated the uh, school grades. So the first graders and the sixth graders went out somewhere together. The third graders and the fifth graders went out somewhere together, and I ended up going with the second and fourth graders, which is where this certain teacher happened to be because he's a second grade teacher. So, but I mean, I didn't care about that. But I ended up going, and it was a lot of fun. The weather was very nice. Um, let's see. Um, I mean, it was pretty typical. Um, nothing really special happened at the picnic. It was just fun. Um, made me wonder, how come, I don't know, like maybe I'm just forgetting what elementary school in America was like, but like I don't ever remember having picnics just because, and just doing things just because. Um, but yeah, it was really nice. Oh, I forgot what it was that I wanted to talk about. Um, well, I talked about what I said I wanted to talk about in the last video, the first graders and my coworkers. So when I can remember what else I wanted to talk about, I'll make another video. Um, I'll try not to procrastinate on it. Anyway, I'm hungry, so I'm gonna end this video right now, and I'll talk to you guys later.